Hey everyone, welcome back to day 17 of the Reprogram Yourself Challenge. I literally cannot believe that we are finally more than halfway through. So if you are here, if you're still with me, I'm so excited for you because this means you are really dedicated to doing the work. At this point when you start a challenge, even when it's a 5-day challenge, everyone shows up for day 1. A lot of people show up for day 2. By day 3, people start falling off. By the end of it, there's really not that many people left. Only the people that are truly committed to changing their lives. So if you have made it 17 days in with me so far, I'm so proud of you. And every single day, I'm getting a comment. I'm getting DMs from you guys. I'm hearing from you guys that this program has been so life-changing. And that was literally the intention behind this program. I didn't want to give you another program where you're taking notes or you're trying to apply things. I wanted you to see how quickly you can truly transform your life when you are actually just getting into your unconscious mind. And that is the power of NLP. That's the power of hypnosis. That's the power of subconscious reprogramming. And this is so instantaneous when you do it. And as you see, this is something, most of these techniques you can use over and over again for different stories, for different experiences, for different beliefs. And that was just a bird flying by the window. And we have this rainbow of light coming in. So the universe is here with us today, okay? Everything is so divine right now. So yesterday and the day before yesterday, if you haven't noticed what I'm giving you, if you haven't caught on to what I'm doing yet, I'm giving you a technique, a perspective, and then the next day I'm dropping you a tapping or a hypnosis that is really helping you to start practicing and embodying that technique or perspective. So the last 2 days, I was giving you practices to really use and perspectives to understand about being associated in a present moment or being dissociated from a present moment. Now, I actually find that a lot of the manifestation community doesn't understand the difference between a dissociated state and an associated state. And that's why I find a lot of people aren't actually using vision boards effectively or using their imagination effectively. Because when you are in a dissociated state, that's just like what it sounds. You're no longer associated. So when you are trying to manifest something, when you want to call something in, you want to be associated with it. You want to see it in the first person perspective, like you are in the moment, like you are experiencing it. When you're dissociated, that is when you're seeing it out of the moment from a third person perspective, observing it. So let me give you an example so that you fully understand what I'm talking about here. So what a lot of people do is when they want to manifest a new car, they will take a picture of the car that they find off of the internet somewhere, and they'll put it on their vision board or they'll print it out however they're doing it, digitally or physically. But the image is what I'm talking about here. Is they're going to use an image of like the car looking at it from the outside. That would be a dissociated state. That's somebody observing the car from the outside. Now, if you had that car, you would be in the car, right? You would be driving it all day long. And of course, yeah, you would see it in your driveway. But the way you would be associated with that car is when you are sitting in the car, driving the steering wheel, turning the music dials, like actually in the car, using it. Instead of putting on your vision board a picture of you looking from the outside of that car, you're actually going to find an image from the inside of the car, preferably the driver's seat. What this does now is gives your mind a perspective of what it looks like to be driving that car, what the view of the driver is, because when you have that car, that will be your view. You're not gonna be standing in your driveway staring at the car, like maybe you might when you first get it, but you're not gonna be doing that. You're gonna just be getting into the car and then going and using it. So that's the perspective you wanna be in. That would be an associated perspective. Now, if we are using the same car analogy with visualizing, you would see yourself in that car. You would use that image to help you associate to what it looks like to drive that car. You would see yourself with your hands on the steering wheel. You would see yourself turning the knob or pressing the buttons on your steering wheel to turn up the volume. You would see yourself driving the car. You would visualize yourself driving it, seeing it from the driver's point of view, the first person point of view. That is associated. So yesterday's visualization was actually incorporating a technique in NLP called time techniques. And this is one of the most powerful tools. And I've honestly never seen anyone teach time techniques out of a practitioner giving it to one of their clients or students. So what's been so interesting for me as the teacher, as the educator, as the practitioner in this program is a lot of the time I've been trying to zoom out and see how can I make this a tool, a technique that I can help them and walk them through without us being in a one-on-one session. So it's really been challenging me to really see these techniques from a different point of view and seeing how instead of just serving one person in one session, how can I expand this and how can I help multiple people do the same thing and make it just as powerful? And yesterday's visualization was probably the most fun I've ever had because I love a challenge. And it was challenging to take a technique that I've only ever seen done and I've only ever experienced it when I was getting an NLP session from another NLP practitioner. So it was so interesting for me to be able to really put that into perspective. So let me know how you felt about yesterday's visualization because that was You're never going to see a visualization like that. That was unique. That was original. That was Alexa Ray Smith, does NLP. Honestly, I'm doing in a lot of these things. I'm really taking them and seeing how can I apply this and teach someone how to do this without me being there walking them through it. And so that's why I think that this program is so powerful and effective. Purpose of time techniques is you being able to travel from your present moment now, dissociating from this present you, going up to the timeline, and some people see it horizontally, some people see it vertically. Those are the two most common ways people interpret a timeline in their brain, but there are also some other ways. So however your brain interprets a timeline, you travel down that timeline to a future moment of yourself. And so you associate it into that future moment of yourself who's living in your house. It wasn't like you were playing out this mental movie where you were seeing the house that you want to live in. You actually went into a different time and you saw yourself in a future reality in your future dream house and you got to play around as this future self. Because the idea is when you want to really associate with a memory, when you want to trick your brain into thinking you're experiencing it, you want to be seeing it from your own perspective and feeling the feelings. You are walking around your future house as your future self, feeling like your future self does, seeing what your future self sees. This is associating you into a desired state, into a desired story, into a desired belief, so that way you start anchoring into that feeling, that state, that story, that version of yourself who's there already. Now, dissociation, which would be you viewing it from the outside, seeing it like a movie, really observing it, watching it play out, this is powerful when you want to dissociate from a story, a limiting belief, or an unwanted emotion that you no longer want to experience. So while today isn't about time techniques, I just wanted to explain to you what yesterday was, and so that you understand that that's why that visualization was so different. But it's also important because we are practicing associating and dissociating. And today we're really going to focus on dissociation and using dissociation to dissociate from old stories, old beliefs, old feelings that are honestly holding you back because you're still associating with them. So I'm going to teach you how to start dissociating from all of these old stories, all of these old beliefs, all of these old feelings, because remember, you can do this practice multiple times for different moments, for different feelings, for different situations. It's something you can come back to and it will always be powerful. You're just going into different moments and associating or dissociating from different moments in time. The way that this works is it gives you a new perspective on that moment in time, so that way you're actually able to break that pattern and start showing up differently because you're no longer attached. You're no longer associated with that story, with that belief, with that feeling. Now, this is so powerful that it can help in so many different ways. It can help relieve stress. It can help heal trauma. It can help give you emotional intelligence and freedom. And it can also help you with decision making. So ultimately, there's a 4-step process that we're going to walk through together so that way you can learn how to use dissociation practices. The way that it works is, 1, you're going to get yourself into a quiet room and get into a comfortable position. Two, you are going to associate with a memory, with a moment in time where you had this feeling, you had that belief, that story was playing out. And then you're going to dissociate from it. And then we test it. We test to see if you really did fully dissociate from that memory, from the feelings, from the story, from the belief. Then we associate back into the present moment. So now I'm going to walk you through this practice. So make sure you are in a quiet room where you will not be disturbed for a few moments, and sit down and get comfortable. Once you've sat down and you're in a comfortable position, I want you to close your eyes. Now, with your eyes closed, think about the last time that an unwanted story, limiting belief, or feeling played out. Get so crystal clear on that exact moment. So much so that you are fully associated back in that moment. You are seeing this moment from your own perspective. You are seeing what you saw. You are hearing what you heard. Pull that memory up so vividly that it is as if you are completely reliving that experience. You are completely back in that moment where you are experiencing that unwanted feeling, that unwanted story, that unwanted belief play out. You can hear the words that you're saying. You can see what the room looks like. You can see the people that you are talking to. You can see all of the details so crystal clear that you are fully back in that moment now. You're feeling that feeling. You're having that belief. You're experiencing that story play out. You are truly reliving that experience right now. You can totally feel it. You're fully immersed in that moment. Once you get to that state where you're feeling it, where you're seeing it, where you're hearing all of the things, where you're fully associated with that state, what I want you to do is I want you to visualize yourself walking out of your body, like you're having an out-of-body experience, and you see yourself all of a sudden zoom out, your perspective zooms out, and you are now watching yourself. You are seeing yourself in the moment that is living in that moment, that does have that story, that does have those beliefs, that does have that feeling, but you are seeing it from that point of view. So now it's as if you are watching this moment play out in time. You are seeing it happen to an old version of yourself, but you are completely detached from the moment. You're completely detached from that story. You're completely detached from the feeling. You're completely detached from the belief. As you're there, you are just watching this old version of you who is living it out. You no longer feel those feelings. You no longer have those beliefs. You no longer are telling any story. You are literally just a neutral observer who is witnessing this moment play out, and you are fully detached from the entire experience. You're just on the sidelines, just watching, just seeing it all happen, but it doesn't have any hold over you. There's no emotional charge. Okay, so now that you're feeling completely detached, now that you're completely neutral from everything that's happening in that moment, you are now going to see yourself and visualize yourself going back into that moment, seeing yourself as the version of yourself, the old version of yourself who is in that moment, seeing through their eyes. But this time, I want you to notice a different perspective. What changes do you notice as you revisit this moment without any attachment? Okay, great. So now you're going to zoom back out again. You're going to zoom back out to that version of yourself that's on the sideline, that's watching it play out, that's just observing it. And you're just seeing yourself again, going through that old moment in time, but you're just on the sidelines. Amazing. So now what I want you to do is I want you to come back into this present moment, taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Okay, great. Take another deep breath in and exhaling. You're feeling emotionally free. You're feeling fully clear. You're feeling back in the moment. Taking another deep breath in And as you exhale, opening your eyes. Okay, great. That was the dissociation practice. You can come back to this as many times as you want. If you are in the paid program, I'm going to give you also a sound audio, so that way you have this that you can download and you can take it with you. So if this is a practice that you want to come back to and revisit over and over again, which I highly encourage because it's so effective, it doesn't have to take a long time, and it's something that you can utilize in so many different areas of your life, and it has so many improvements. So let me know how this went for you. Let me know the shifts. If you haven't yet joined the paid program, make sure that you join before the price goes up again, because it's going up another $100 really, really soon. And let me know, how's this going? I love hearing from you guys. I am so grateful that you're in, and I will see you tomorrow for day 18.